McDonald's all-day menu, available 24/7.
Welcome back.
I have two quick things to say on that interview. Right, the first is back when I was working here more regularly.
Oh, yeah.
Or at all.
Yeah.
I remember thinking of Spooks as being a real monkey in the interview. You know what I mean? And then I
Not
saw
taking it seriously?
And I saw his first answer to this, and I thought, oh, he's really matured, and what a great presence on the desk.
Are
and
you
then,
laughing at his face?
And then it was 3 seconds after I thought that he was like, "No, echo's a funny word." I'm like, "Shut up, idiot!
Yeah.
you've not changed at all."
Absolutely.
What was your second one? That was your first
The second thing I was thinking of was Swiffer saying, "I haven't bagged for Chiefs in 2 years." By my recollection, 2 years ago, he was still on Chiefs.
He was, yeah. Actually, it was only a year and a half ago he was on Chiefs, so apparently that last split was a real rocky one.
Not good for Chiefs.
But I just want to say to all the viewers at home, welcome to my life. Because that interview went for all of 3.5 minutes.
Yep.
And you could tell that Pyra was trying to rush it along to get the peanut gallery out of the room.
Yep.
Now, imagine trying to sit down and teach those players how to play League of Legends.
Well, something
it's
has
been
gone
a
right.
journey, if anything.
Something has gone right in the last week, so obviously some of the teaching has sunk in. Now, something else we've taught the viewers.
Sure.
We've
Your
learned
Twitter
today,
account?
bees are sexy.
Oh, I'm a furry bit of these.
Yeah, because we got some pictures. Let's
What?
get Sir Cattle up first.
What are we doing?
That's not Sir Cattle, but that's okay.
Oh,
that's someone else's.
That's me. Buzz off.
That could be Stickman San.
Cool. Well, that's me being a bee.
Oh, no, that is Sir Cattle. Sorry, no, all the control room's yelling at me now. It is Sir Cattle. There you go. That's you as a bee. Stickman San also sent one in.
What else we got?
Truly
Good face
disturbing.
swap.
Well, do you
Good
know what this
face
is
swap.
from? That episode of The Simpsons when Bart goes into the portal with the fly at the same time.
Yeah.
And the fly comes out.
Halloween.
Yeah.
It's like The Fly.
Yeah, and so that's what that is. That's the two alternative realities. So I like
Excellent.
to think in the right one, the bee's brain is controlling everything. Which, as I
Okay, which
come to
reality
think
do
about
we
it,
want to live in?
Probably the left.
Oh, wow. Would you rather be a bee with a human face or a human with a bee face?
No, I like the
think
left.
I'd rather be a bee with a human face.
Disagree, but okay. Show me your working. Why?
Well, because I think if you're a human with a bee face, it'd be real difficult to sort of get around in life. I think if you're basically, I want to be Jerry Seinfeld in Bee Movie. That's where I want to end up, which I
Okay.
think is broadly speaking a bee with a human face.
Okay. See, I'm worried
He
about
still
the fact
had a
that
bee face in that movie.
It was an anthropomorphic bee face. It wasn't like a. There
Yeah.
wasn't like. The
I think
eyes-
the
but if
bees
you-
would accept you, the humans wouldn't, because
Oh.
the bees are more of the accepting race.
But what's the lifespan of a bee? I could find that out right now. Lifespan of a bee, because here's what I'm worried about. If I'm a bee with a human face, I don't want to gently press my buttocks against another bee or human, and then as I walk away, the bottom half of my body rips out, and then I just
yeah.
die. A bumblebee, 28 days. Western honeybee lives for up to 152 days. So that's,
Right.
that's not much of a life. Whereas I feel like a human with a bee face, I'm probably a quasi-celebrity. Like, I'm probably more famous than I am right now.
See,
Bare
you're not
minimum,
a
you've got
celebrity, you're a freak show.
Yeah, well, bare minimum, you've got 100,000 Instagram followers. Bare minimum.
Yeah.
If you're a human with a bee face,
Yeah, I have some sort of sponsorship deal with a honey company
you're an
somewhere.
IRL Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we landed on that. The next one came in from Lady Cat, though.
Oh, that's nice. That's
a
very
distinguishment.
simple.
I mean, that's basically Jerry Seinfeld a bee movie.
I like that you still got a hand to adjust your glasses. I just don't know where it came from.
Yes, I guess that's just an attachment to the glasses.
Ah,
in this
that's what
one.
it is.
No, that's right.
It's a fake hand.
And then finally, World of Pasta went all out on this one. I don't know how this got done in time.
Oh, okay.
So there's Beekeeper Singed. That's me as Beekeeper Singed. And you are all the little
I'm
pasta
the
bees screaming around me as I try to...
Now, which
collect you?
From this resolution, can we identify which pastas are being used in this?
Uh,
I can't quite
I
see.
think that's a rigatoni.
I was going
on
to say, is
Nick.
it a rigatoni?
That's a rigatoni on Nick,
Uh-huh.
and that is, I think, is it spiral? I can't see it. Yours.
Right.
I'm very blind.
Well, you're also the resident Italian, Tiberi,
Yeah.
I imagine. So
Yeah.
you'd have
It
more
could
of
be
an
a
expertise.
It
on
could be a
this.
penne.
Right.
Which one? On you?
The one on me.
Really? No,
Yeah.
it's not thin on one end. Or they've photoshopped a penne really badly and made it look like rigatoni. Because
Interesting.
penne always has angled cuts.
Oh, yes, yeah, on end to end.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
And your eyebrow was straight.
Welcome to the
there's a
OPL,
straight
everyone.
eyebrow.
We're talking about which pastas have been used to Photoshop
Well,
bees.
the thing
Clearly,
is-
you have not watched the show in the last
Yeah,
two
this is
splits.
actually, if anything, I would say probably higher brow
Top-tier
content than we
content.
normally
This
have.
is the show.
We've moved on from you being a bee furry to at least different kind of pastas
Please.
that could be
I'm a
used.
furry bit for bees. It's a separate dish.
This is the show. So thank you very much, everyone,
for tuning in. We
sending that
really
stuff in.
appreciate it.
All right, moving on now. We're going to do the second half of Explain Yourself because we only got through like 3 of them.
Oh, sure. There's more of them.
October 30th, 2017.
Oh, goodness.
To the Zelda and Link cosplay couple I saw fighting at PAX. I hope you worked out the accommodation keys problem, but also this was the highlight of PAX.
This was. I love going
Why
to
are
PAX
you
every year.
surrounded by romantic misery?
PAX, well, I think I'm quite highly tuned to it on account of my dark and sad heart. But PAX is one of my favorite things to do every year. Often, sometimes I used to go down with OPL, with Riot, which was nice. I like going there now and doing comedy and stuff, which is fun. But I love it because you see people dressed up as video game characters and they're just living their everyday lives.
Yeah.
You've spent a lot of time at PAX, yeah?
I have.
And just this in particular, watching video game characters have like really mundane fights is, it's so, like the idea that Link and Zelda finally, after centuries, have found their way to each other, are finally together, and the thing that's going to tear them apart is a fight over an Airbnb key.
It's very
so
true.
good. It wasn't Ganondorf at all. It was, they only had one key and there were 2 of them.
And it's so nice because the cosplayers spend so much time in character.
Yes.
Like that's part of great cosplayers
Part of
kind
the
of
thing.
in character.
Exactly.
So when
Commit
you
to
break
the
that
role.
character,
Yeah.
it's sacrilegious.
Told you, no, you had to put the key in the mailbox, otherwise we're going to get charged for the cleaning fee. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that was very good cosplaying of the angry couple. Have you ever been to PAX with this guy?
I think we would have
when we were working together, we were
He
good
knows
games.
everyone.
Well-
I thought I knew a lot of people in video games, and then I went to PAX with you, and we walk around, and Jordan from Axis of Awesome is there.
it's cool.
You just know everyone.
There's a pretty big crossover between comedy and video
nerds
games.
and
yeah,
Yeah.
But he's you're pretty lame normally, but
King
you're
of the nerds,
king nerd
of the
at PAX.
nerds, king of the nerds. It's the only time I've ever really recognised, which is at PAX, which is quite nice. It's flattering.
Well, speaking of King of the Nerds, 11 October 2017. I once bought $500 of Warhammer and invented an entire nephew who was really into Warhammer. And now whenever I go back to Games Workshop, I update the staff on my nephew without them asking.
That is the
this
wrong
is
tweet.
fine. I'm definitely fine.
Yeah,
A different one came
yeah,
up.
let's go.
Can I tell you about that? That tweet is a slight lie now because I started going to a new Warhammer shop and I've started telling them. Well, what happened was I bought a bunch of Warhammer,
Yep.
and the guy said to me, "Are these for your son?"
Yep.
Right, and then I just panicked and said yes. And then,
Why would he ask that question?
Because I'm a grown adult and maybe he thought I shouldn't be.
But
I
he
feel like-
works there.
Hang on a second. I feel like everyone that actually does Warhammer has to at least have a full-time job. No one gets that for their kids.
God,
Because you
no.
go in, you get one tank, and they take half your salary.
and not only they take off your salary, it's so intricate to paint them and care for them
absolutely.
that you go, you're not handing that over to a kid. You're not giving that to Jasper to suck on.
Do you ever do that thing though when you're lying to someone and then you spiral and you get too specific
totally.
in your lies?
Yeah,
It's so bad. So the guy said to me, "Is that for your son?" And I said yes. And then I realized I wasn't wearing a wedding ring, and I freaked out and I said to him, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to reconnect with my son because I only get to see him every second week since the divorce. So
is
now I've
this
invented
lie so
a
sad?"
son and then a messy divorce. And then, well, why did your wife leave you, Michael? Maybe it's because you lie to strangers for no reason. Maybe that's why she left, Michael.
Maybe because you're ashamed of yourself. That
Fix
you
who
can't
you
live
are.
with yourself, let alone someone else.
If you can't love yourself, why would you ask anyone else to love you? And that's basically where I find myself.
Here's my
yet
question.
again.
Were the Zelda Link cosplay actually just you?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was me. I had those finger puppets and I had a fight. I let it out. And I was like, Michael, you've left the key in. Oh, you're an idiot. You always do this. You ruin every holiday. And that was basically it.
All right, this is a far too real dive into Michael
I was about to say,
Hing's
you
real
guys say
life.
that I am the person that...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but you got to understand, our Nick's and my sort of mental fragility isn't as linked to the performance of OPL teams as
It's,
Ah,
it's,
that's
purely,
the
it's
difference,
purely
okay.
linked to the unperformance of ourselves. That's entirely what makes us happy.
Yeah, you've got an external locus of control,
Yeah.
which happens to be Spooks and Swiffer.
Okay.
Very unfortunate for you.
Yeah, very.
All right, speaking of League of Legends, which we certainly were not, it is time to dive into the next game. It is Legacy versus Direwolves, and Rusty and Pyra are chomping at the bit to get on with it.
How do you follow that up? You talk about League of Legends and don't try and match them in comedy.
I think that is probably the only way forward to save any sort of face.
I hope so.
So we can talk about a game that has absolutely no stakes here except for the pride of both the OPL teams involved. It is Legacy versus Direwolves. It's the second to last and last place team, but Legacy have been looking a lot better in the last couple of weeks.
They definitely have, and you know, I have a feeling that both of these teams will still take the game pretty seriously. But when you what's at stake in a game like this? Nothing. There's nothing at stake.
No.
Both teams are effectively playing.
But it's
for
still
fun.
a game of League. You don't queue up for norms and intend to lose. If you do, you're an inter, and you should get banned.
Yes, you never play a game of League intending to lose. That would be very rude for the experience of everyone else on your team.
I mean, I've had a number of solo queue experiences where that has appeared to be the case.
However, in a competitive game, when you are aware of all of the people around you, you can still have a whole lot of fun and do different things. But I am curious to see where they go. You know,
I would like to see some different things in this game.
Both
for
of
sure.
these teams do still probably want to play pretty seriously. The draft may be, I would say, the most crazy thing of all of it, if there was to be anything, because once you're on the Rift, like, a switch actually does flick in your brain. And this is pretty true, I would say, for a lot of people that play League full stop, right? The second you're on the Rift, you sit down, you take a deep breath, and you're like, time to win. And, like, that mode does kick in, especially for competitive players that know no different.
True that, but the draft is going to be pretty interesting here as we are into the McDonald's champion selection. We have Zoe LeBlanc banned away, followed by the Jace on the Legacy side, and over in the Red Trunks, Direwolves, Callista, Silas, Nico, all off the board. And yeah, if you're Legacy, I just want to see him leave it all out
Lucian.
on the Rift. The Lucian comes through, but I want to see the crazy
Draven.
stuff. I want to see the crazy stuff on the Legacy side. Maybe the Direwolves do lock the Draven for Andrew.
They should.
But this is a standard draft. What's going on, Rusty?
No, they should. They should go Draven for certain. I would expect Brom with it, but knowing someone like Corporal, he may consider the Thresh. It depends on where his preferences lie. Jarvan is going to be the current pick for them, and we'll see where it actually chooses to go. Because they could just go Galio now instead, as they've already got the Jarvan.
Yeah, they can combo it up. We saw that used to great effect last time. We'll see if Udasoft and Get Back are going to do the same thing, or if it's a Corporal Galio. Certainly possible. I mean, heck, we've seen support Jarvan this season, so, you know, not in this region, but you know what I mean.
Well, I don't want to act shocked or anything, but Lucian Braum has been locked in by Legacy, and
Called it.
That's just always going to happen, because Legacy and Lucian Braum is the most iconic duo in the OPL besides Spooks and Swifa.
And there is the Rise locked in. Nice little flex for Paprise or Chaz. So this has been a very standard OPL draft.
We're just getting really exciting hovers, honestly, from both
Yeah,
these
well, I
teams.
mean,
We're
when do we not
getting
get,
else.
like, some exciting hovers?
Ooh,
But, oh, look,
yeah.
it's a Lysandra. I mean, again, you look at these three champs, and you're like, yep, okay, that's an OPL team.
Vanilla ice cream drafting so far. We're on the meta.
Where's the Oreos in my McFlurry?
I like vanilla ice cream.
I mean, it is good, but you can add so much to it. That's the thing. There's always
you
more
want a
you can
really
do.
good base.
Yeah, it's all right.
I argue that Pavlova has a very good base as well. So.
What is a good base?
The Pavlova base. Oh, never mind.
I am
I
so
forgot
confused.
that that's not. You won't get it.
Pavlova?
Yeah, you won't get it.
Nah, yeah. I don't understand.
It is, and I will offend people. I would offend people if I said this, but I'm going to. It is an Australian dish,
Okay.
a dessert dish,
Ah,
but it was actually from New Zealand. And
got it's been co-opted.
yeah, we just kind of said it's ours now.
Okay. All right. But today I learned. Still banning Rek'Sai, and of course the Corki taken off by the Direwolves Legacy side. They ban the Vayne. Do they ban the Draven here?
I really think that they should. Draven is just one of those really good staple picks into Lucian specifically, and we've mentioned this before, the ability to build a Vamp Scepter against Lucian is one of the things that makes you strong. Is I think that's pretty clear intent that Paprise is looking towards the Rise top lane,
Yeah.
otherwise you wouldn't ban yourself a Mundo. But that does leave Draven up. Draven is pretty rough into Braum and Rise, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder how confident Andrew does feel in playing at Direwolves. You know, only
Kai'Sa.
been able to find that one win so far, and yeah, Kai'Sa's probably the answer. So far, so standard. We continue to have vanilla ice cream here.
And I saw Direwolves in the hallway coming down the stairs before this game, and I was like, guys, you better make this fun. And they said yes. And this hasn't been. So I really hope that they make it up in the game.
Well, there's still one more pick left to go
The
on the
draft's
Direwolves
good, though.
side. It is a good draft. It's a standard draft, and maybe they just want to practice the standard play. Legacy,
Ooh.
3 seconds left, and we're going to get another Zach pickup here
This
for
has
Guts.
been banned from him like all split long. This is one of the first games we're actually going to see Guts on the Zac.
Yeah, I think we might have had it yesterday. Was that the Is that the last time you got to play it? But that was, other than that, it has been pretty purple banned?
Yeah, pretty much.
So nice draft from Legacy, sets them up for some good side play. And
Big yawn.
woo, big yawn there.
Smash it out.
Sometimes you just got to. And the Renekton up top for Paprise, so this will be the mid-rise.
Yeah, it definitely is. So now we have the counter pick available for Direwolves if they want to go top lane counter. They have a lot of champions that can honestly go in a few roles, like Lissandra can be a top laner if they want, but something that matches the Renekton is what I am curious to look towards.
Respect hover on Paprise with the ribbon.
Aatrox.
And they lock the Aatrox at the end of the day. All right, so this is interesting. Top lane matchup probably going to be the one to watch.
I would expect so. A lot of early pressure up there. Renekton actually does handle Aatrox quite well in the very early stages of the game. I would almost want to start to look towards Ubisoft, the Jarvan in particular, to see if he can get around the map. Because there's still a lot of volatility in every lane, honestly, from both of these teams. And on the lanes themselves, when you look at them as like isolated areas of the maps, I feel like Get Back does have a lot of early prio that Chaz starts to get back. Whereas Paprise has a lot of early prio in lane control that Biopanther starts to bite back on himself. So that's where you look towards the junglers as the primary functions here. Levels 1 to 5, Ubisoft should be able to get some early movements.
Yes, you should. Question is, how did Direwolves execute yesterday? We really saw them not really put up as much of a fight. There were a couple of chance attempts, but otherwise it was just a standard game that they started losing out pressure on, not getting anything done. What can they do this time around now that they're only playing for Pride once more? Legacy on their side doing the same thing, but they've definitely leveled up over the course of the split. No doubt about that, picking up a few wins here and there, and kind of a bright future ahead of the Legacy lineup, I think.
You would like to hope so as well. The last couple weeks have been really promising for Legacy. A lot of their last games have shown a lot of positive signs and continues to get better. So trajectory of Legacy has always been promising.
And let's talk to their coach really quick. We've got Denian back on the desk. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Good stuff. So neither of these teams are going to be going into the playoffs, but of the two, Legacy certainly have some momentum. How is the team feeling right now?
We're feeling good. We had a really rough stretch in the middle of the split, but a lot of that was just trying to like hard force learning some of the fundamentals that we needed to learn. And now that I feel like that they have that knowledge, we go into these games and we're having a lot better go at it.
And is this a point to prove for Legacy, coming into this last day of the OPL, that coming into second split, you guys will be a real big threat?
Yeah, I mean, we want to be a really good team. That was always the thing that we wanted to be eventually. And we knew that first split was always going to be hard, right? You get a team of like OCS players or OPL players that haven't really learned how to play the game like on a macro sense. They're just kind of running around fighting people. That's always going to be really hard. But we've gone to a point where they know what they want to do, and the only time we don't do it is when we have some lacks of discipline. But that's something that comes with time. Sorry.
Let's actually talk about that as well, though, because you mentioned discipline. Is this the big thing that you're trying to instill in them particularly? Is that, or like, what is it that you as a coach have thought the biggest thing that you wanted to teach them first is as a team?
Well, the way I've always seen it is like, I want to focus on one thing or one idea, and it's usually they'll have a lot of different plans in the game, and then I'll try to narrow it down to the same general ideas that they're doing over and over again and say, you have these are your forking options at this moment. I don't care what you do, but do it right, and this is how you do it. And so we just keep going over the same general ideas of the same general moment so that they can just make the better decision next time. Because I can't tell them, this is something you do at 15 minutes every game. They have to learn how to think for themselves.
Every game's different.
Give them a little bit of iteration there. So let's flip it a little bit here for the last question. Direwolves, what do you think this team is lacking, especially because it's clearly not putting up any results? Why do you think they're struggling to even make plays?
I'm not sure, because they've had a lot of games in OPL where they're doing really well in the early game. They've had a lot better early game presence than we have, to be frank. But then when they get to mid game, they don't seem to know what to do. Maybe they don't have someone telling them what they need to be doing or what they should be doing, or the decision making is just a bit rough. I'm not sure, but it does seem that they need to have a harder focus on their mid game. That's when they have the biggest issues.
Yeah, perhaps not that voice there for them. And lastly, of course, looking at this draft, Denian, do you think you've got what it takes to take this one home pretty easily?
Oh, I better hope so. I feel like every time I come here and someone asks me, how do you think you did on the draft? I'm like, oh, I'm stoked. I think I came out ahead. There's been maybe 1 or 2 times where I was actually feeling maybe I griefed my team, but most of the time I'm feeling really happy about it.
There you go.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for joining us, Denian.
All right, thank you very much.
I think there's definitely a lot to like about this team going into the next split.
I always, just importantly, I find that such a loaded question to ask them, but I really enjoy asking them because I feel the same way. Like as a coach for a team, you go through Monday to Friday, you draft a million games in practice, and sometimes you sit there and you just look in the mirror and you're like, man, I really cooked it. Like, I am so sorry to my team to about to endure 20 to 30 minutes of just absolute pain because of a mistake that I made. And, you know, if you come onto the stage and you do a draft like that, you'd feel horrible. So the pressure's always there. And if you ask a coach, how do you think draft went? And they say not good, that usually means really not good.
Yeah, no, they always do a little bit of the understatement. And that's got to be so much more agonizing as a coach because unlike a player, you can't do anything about it while the game's on.
Oh, it's
You have to just sit there and hope that they can play around the deficiencies.
I mean, you saw Spawn before.
Yeah. I see Spawn quite frequently.
And that was after a win. He was shaking, you know, the feelings that actually come into this sitting on the sideline. Spawn's had the hard job of doing it in the past, but like just being a member of a team, like of an organization, even like say in traditional sport, you're a member of, let's just use Bombers because, you know, you're a member of the Bombers football club. You sit there on the sideline, you can't control the outcome of the game. That's just like the feelings you get. It's just so close to traditional sport, right? Like it's so nerve-inducing.
Well, it's even worse in a lot of ways because League of Legends, there's no tactical pauses or anything. You can't communicate with your team in the middle of the game, and that is something that you don't have to worry about in a lot of traditional sports because players come on and off the sidelines all the time.
Yeah, you can
and even in a
yell
lot
at
of
them.
esports, they have pauses. Other games all the time. At League, you don't get that luxury.
I'd love to be able to have a phone to yell at people. Just call from a corporate box up top to get my runner down there and just slap someone and be like, oi, get it together.
Oi. Speaking of getting it together, watching how this game was starting early on, no shenanigans, no crazy plays. Little CS advantage for Get Back over Chaz in the mid. Saw him forced to use Flash, actually, so that's a nice little advantage, but maybe it's a bit of a bait. Guts is hanging out. He can have those creative gank pass on the Zac at level 4 even.
Yeah, Zax can definitely still gank at level 4. I always reference level 5 as a big break point, but it's more about the range increase. You can still gank at pretty much any level in the game if you're a Zac, and you know it may be timings that people find super unpredictable. So always power in that, and level 4 Zac, he's still got the distance here.
And tries to connect onto either Corporal or Andrew. Manages to find neither, unfortunately for them. Great job defensively by Andrew and Corporal, though.
Yeah, a lot of skill shots being dodged there on the backside as well, though. So just across the board, people dodging out on everything left, right, and center, and no gank actually going to find its mark. No skill shot's going to find purchase, and just a big disengage. Also, we've seen the early recall here from Andrew, who's gone for the Cullen the long sword, so definitely about ramping up in this lane, just slowly scaling into his first item. Well, we're yet to see that recall from Praetor. And Andrew didn't even teleport on that recall, so just a big push in a bottom lane, a big purchase.
You know, an old storyline that we had for Direwolves back when we thought they were going to pick up a few more wins on the split was that they did want to stall it. They did want to play late. They had a couple of close games. You know, it's only one win, and it was against a Mammoth that was struggling mightily at the time. But Direwolves did manage to have some pretty solid late game performances, just not putting it away. Guts is back now. This time, he will catch on a Corporal, makes him kiss a minion, forces the flash away, and the stun for first blood, and whoo! They could do a little bit of a chef's kiss there for Praetor, Crazy, and Guts.
Yeah, easy as you like there, honestly, from Legacy. The jungler comes down to the bottom side, repeat offender after going for another camp, so hits level 5, and you can see the difference in reach that you get from that and how it actually does enable you to get those kills. So proof in the purchase there of why we talk about level 5 so much.
Zac making the play. Get back, pushing in now onto Chaz in the mid lane. I do want to keep an eye on this top side matchup because it is a couple of champions that can start to really take things off, but they've been playing pretty casually, playing it out pretty slow.
There'll be lots of trades between them, but it's hard to actually see those trades become all-ins until the most unexpected of moments. But Aatrox can always press his R and run away, worst case scenario, and they both have dashes, so it's actually really hard to get the kills.
They do both have level 6 now, though, so there is a chance that there will be a play being made. Guts might be instrumental in helping Paprise as well. And
I mean, level 6 is big for both teams, really. It's not just the top side being level 6, it's the combos that they get. Jarvan is very good with Lissandra, actually, as well. Jarvan Galio will be big once Corporal hits level 6, though he is the furthest behind regarding experience at the moment. And now that Guts is level 6 and has got that ultimate available, which name constantly evades me because it just doesn't feel right. It's no longer Let's Bounce, so it doesn't matter.
That's too bad. I really like the name Let's Bounce. It was fun. And it was also like a bouncy castle.
Actually, I'm Googling it.
Once upon a time. Go for it. While you do that, I do have a question to put to you. A query, in fact, that I don't know if you'll be able to Google.
I may be listening.
Well, I'll just have to take the chance. Do you think the Paprise is more of a Renekton is a crocodile or Renekton is an alligator type of player?
Really? That's really the question.
Yeah. Because I feel like you always talk about how, you know, it's whether it's see you later or in a while. Which one is Paprise?
Paprise is probably a see in a while kind of guy. He likes to split push a lot.
Yeah, okay.
So you may not see him later. And I think in a while is a more vague term.
Well, might be not too much of a while before he gets jumped on right here. The nice combo out of Udasov, and Bio tanking up a lot of the tower shots, but they do turn it around as he gets res back up. That will be a turret plating.
He's able to res himself pretty easily there, and honestly a very nice dive from them. Note that Udasov doesn't even use his ultimate, so only one of them was burned to get the kill on a Paprise. Flash available. They could come back.
Equalize on the kill. They might just do it. So, pretty much dead even in the gold game at 8 minutes on the clock now. Legacy going pretty heftily towards this bottom side to steal away a blue buff. Should be easy to take as there's really no response.
Chaz
Udi
really
and Bio
needs this,
backing.
so hopefully Guts doesn't get it with red. Oh,
that
that hit
close.
1 HP.
That was close, but he got it. And now it's Dragon time. Legacy still making moves wherever they can on the map. It's only an ocean, but they'll still be pretty happy about that. A little bit of regen does certainly not hurt.
Is it still cold? Let's bounce.
Is it still called Let's Bounce?
No.
It shouldn't be. It does something completely different. There's bouncing involved, but that's just lazy writing.
Well, they just change its
It's
name.
still, it's still
It
called
doesn't
Let's
matter.
Bounce. Eh. Thanks, production. I would have thought they would have changed the name. Some of the names of League abilities are, like, great for commentary. Some are absolutely not.
Well, Thresh's hook has always been one of the best. You know,
Yeah.
Malphite's ultimate,
Death Sentence.
Galio's ultimate.
Yeah. The Scion's a pretty good one. Unstoppable Onslaught.
Yeah.
That's a really cool one. And there's so many ways to talk about it, too, because it's like a giant train.
Or you could be a commentator like Atlas and just use any
And just say choo-choo.
phrases. No, any phrases as verbs is his thing.
Well,
So,
that's his superpower.
like Lucian's dash, he will say relentlessly pursuing instead of the name of the spell.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Same,
is relentless
same thing with the
pursuit.
W and the Q, in fact.
Yep.
Piercingly lit.
Ardently blazes.
That's
But
just, the
don't
magic.
be like Atlas. Let him be his own man.
Well, you can't steal
He's too
anyone
good at
else's
it.
style. You're not going to be able to match it. Speaking of matching, Paprise is having a little bit of a hard time here. Oh, does go in. There's a slice. Where's the dice? There it is. Colin Samik.
And it's pretty easy to proc conquer if you're a Renekton, in general, against the melee champion. Of course, having that W is a couple of the procs there. That was some damage.
Dragon out by Udi. Legacy do win the Ward War, or at least the battle. Junglers matching each other, a lot of pressure. There's a lot of Legacy wards down in this river.
Certainly is. Now Ubisoft and get back moving. Guts wants it.
Splits the distance. That time, though, the flag and drag was still available.
6 points for Guts, but unfortunately it doesn't matter to the score of the game.
Andrew's in some trouble. He might get dove on, but game sense is tingling. And the ward vision probably alerted him to some danger.
That's a good little ward there on the backside of the tri-bush. Not everyone will detect that one. You have to have a sweeper as you come through, and it's a bit too early in the game for that sweeper to be on for Crazy, who could actually swap, I believe, on his next recall.
Teams are playing pretty vertically here. Oh, Paprise is coming in. That's a 1v2. He feels very bold. He gets dunked on by Udasov and Getback. I don't think he realized there were two there. And he nearly gets one onto Udasov, but he's taken down.
Closer than you would have liked there, perhaps, for Ubisoft, but it doesn't matter. The kill is there in the end, and Paprise now 0-2. A kill to the mid laner, a kill to the top laner of Direwolves, and they're still well and truly in striking distance in this game, scaling up in the right areas.
Yeah, tit for tat, lots of trades here as Legacy start to run down towards the bottom.
The problem
lane
is
again.
bottom.
You can see Guts going for the play. In plain vision, Andrew is going to have to move. No, he's just not going to take the hop. It's just to scare them off.
He's zoning. They don't have a ward in that bush, and they're very much aware of that fact, so
Look
Guts
at
is
Chaz.
just playing coy. Chaz also now here means they're threatening the dive much harder. And Dials, in response to that, will come in here and actually run about and bring their jungler through to protect that bottom lane. And it is really bad to be the AD carry in support of Direwolves right now. All of Legacy's pressure. You can see the CS difference starting to mount.
Building up. This is good for Legacy's lineup right now. Taking a look at where the gold is sitting as well. Big advantage topside for BioPanther. Of course, he has had a little bit of help from Udasov, and Getback has certainly kept Paprise down as well. 12 minutes on the clock in this game.
Yep. And if anyone's just joining us, I think it's fair to refresh the stakes of this game as it's such an important one. You know, there's a lot on the line here in the way of nothing. Both of these teams are just playing for glory purposes at the moment in their last day of the OPL, as both teams have been unable to make the playoffs run themselves. So just a lot of glory on the line, bit of fun perhaps between these teams, but it's very clear 12.5 minutes in that they're not playing just for fun. They are here to win, and I can't blame them. you know, not having a lot of wins in the season, you take what you can.
Oh boy, Udasov gets sandwiched and he tries to make his escape, but he gets denied, and Corporal jumps into the middle of the fight. Now Direwolf's still going to go on the second win. Crazy going gold, and in comes BioPanther. Shelly is in the mix as well, and everyone backs away. 1-for-none kill, and Praedyth goes for the dive. On to Andrew, full channel calling. Andrew dodges, he stops early. Flashes, and the outplay down bottom side.
Yeah, Praedyth just classes on him, honestly. Styles him down there in the bot lane 1v1, cancels his culling and gets the individual 1v1 kill. Not something you ever want to see, but the difference between them was so great in terms of experience, money, levels. Everything's just been so bad for Andrew that's really what happens down there in that lane, try as he might. It's 2 levels between them. That's so devastating.
He's going to teleport back in, looking for some revenge as Corporal's trying to cut off the Lucian, but he's not going to be able to do it, and Corporal's forced to back away. Guts was even there for the assist. Praedyth's having a great game already.
Praedyth's been having a good last week and a half. Maybe even 2 weeks coming out of him. Honestly, he's been one of the few players on Legacy that has been the most noticeable in his improvements. There's been ups and downs from some other members of the team, but overall, Praedyth is the one on a steady incline in his performance week on week.
Yeah, noticeable because he's been doing it consistently. And this is a player that ended up having to role swap into this as well. Legacy kind of had a lot of change-ups, newer players, as Denian was referring to, but also players playing in unfamiliar positions. And he's certainly leveled up. Bright future ahead of him.
Absolutely.
Say the
Someone
same
who
for
has
Chaz
a storied
in the mid lane as
past,
well.
though.
Yeah, also true. No, he's not one of the newer ones, but in this role, perhaps. Legacy going to fight over this blue buff. In fact, they're just going to take it away because no one was fighting back.
Move that one over to Chaz, and Lysandra is stalking just around the corner there of the blue buff, but doesn't actually find what she's after. So we're going to go back to mid lane. We're going to have another full reset, it looks like, for both of these teams after the items were purchased. Bot lane is the place that is still going to have to be a major point of focus here. Turrets will start to drop down in that area of the map pretty quickly if Direwolves do nothing about it.
Well, Direwolves, one of the big critiques levied against them in the last couple of weeks is that they haven't really had much of a response prepared, which has been surprising because they've been locked out of playoffs for a while. Without a whole lot to lose, you'd think they'd play a little easier, but the opposite has been true.
It's hard to say what the breakpoint will be in this game. You know, Rift Turret is something that they will be looking towards, but at the moment, with all the slow, steady scaling up, I feel like bottom lane being unlocked to the rest of the map could be the thing that really breaks it. And at this moment, bottom lane turret falling, but still trading on the top side Direwolves, they're still in the game well and truly. You know, 0-2 Renekton with a 30 CS deficit is a pretty significant thing in how far behind he is. So even a Kai'Sa that may be super far behind could potentially kill him, you know, and we'll have to see that. But I feel like Praedyth is too far ahead, so he still will be able to break open the map.
Don't doubt that at all. One of the players that's also had a lot of visible improvement has been Chaz in the mid lane. He's had a quieter few weeks, but I think everyone's going to remember when he picks up the Yasuo, makes the big plays, the team builds around him, and he delivers.
Well, that's the thing with Chaz, you know, like, I would say that absolutely over the course of this split he has improved and it's been noticeable, but not every game and not consistent, right? Like, there is the Yasuo game that you speak of. There is yesterday's game as well on the Lysandra where they have those big moments, and you can look at him and pick and choose those moments where he's been great, but it hasn't been every week. He is just 1v1ing him.
Yeah, Paprise, pretty aggressive here, wants to go in, and BioPanther trying to duel him out. Sword versus weird axe thingy.
Well, he's got him.
He's got the kill easy. He's gonna force a flash out.
Ooh,
Wait,
no,
go ahead.
has he?
Oh, that's close actually.
Oh!
Oh!
Uh-oh.
Bio was toying with him.
There's a lot of kiting there. They were trying really hard. Paprise wanted to get the ultimate's duration to run out before he went for the execute. He had enough damage to kill him, but he just would have respawned again. And in the process of waiting, BioPanther with the Conqueror procced just smacks him around.
And Paprise took a lot of damage from minions as well. But in the meantime, Legacy gets something out of it. They take the Rift Herald with the remaining 4 members, and there really is no response from the Direwolves.
They could have just taken 2 things for it, you know, if the kill was there as Chaz.
And he's stunned for days. Nowhere for him to go. He's knocked up even by Corporal as the shutdown comes in. Get Back claims his 2nd kill of the game.
This is what happens when you compliment people.
Caster Curse never fails.
A 500 bounty goes over to the mid laner of Direwolves, and now gets a 500 bounty for himself as well.
It's pretty big right now, so Direwolves have found a couple of answers in the forms of kills. The question remain, though, is, you know, how well can they start to secure a couple of objectives? Playing with more gold, that'll translate to items pretty quickly. Take a look at what's already locked in for the players. I think the biggest thing that stands out, though, is the fact that Praetor's sitting on his Blade of the Rune King and Black Cleaver.
Yeah, definitely is a lot of items there for the Lucian. You compare that to the Renekton on his same team, just the Black Cleaver. Clearly a significant difference in gold influx for them. For the opposing side, BioPanther is getting ever closer to his own Black Cleaver purchase, and at that 2-item point will be a significant threat in team fights. And, you know, Aatrox will always hit one of those points where a Q3 and a flash on top of the head of a carry will probably just take half their health maybe in a single chunk, a la the Shy at Worlds.
Reptile popped in the mid. Legacy looking for the tower. 4 members here. They're actually going to march into the jungle, not go for the push without any minions there as well. Guts clearing vision.
Looks like they wanted to cut them off, you know, prevent the avenue of access from top to mid. Turret falls, fight mid.
Oh, and it's Udasoft going in onto 2, but the rest of Legacy collapse around. Start by taking down Get Back. BioPanther is isolated, and he might res, but he's going down pretty soon after. Still has that flash, going to try to get over the wall here, and it's followed by Praetor. He will not be denied, and there's the shutdown onto the Aatrox. 500 gold in the pocket of the Lucian.
And there was always a Rise to come down there and follow with the ultimate anyway. Chaz throws that one for good measure, but Praetor is able to flash, and they lock that kill down. Direwolves seemingly looking for the collapse in a very disjointed collapse, are picked apart by Legacy piece by piece. So the turret drops, the kills go as well. 2 members dead. And those were also shutdowns, both into the pockets of Legacy.
Yeah, big ones too, big kills. Gold lead grows to about 2,000 and some change here. Baron's coming up in 45 seconds. Not a big enough lead for them to easily take it away, but Legacy, again, they don't have a whole lot to lose here, and they can definitely go big and bold.
The reality is here, these teams were on very similar trajectories at the start of this split. It wasn't the best of starts, and there's been moments of promise. There's definitely been moments where you're like, these teams are improving, and unfortunately only one of them has continued to do so, you know, towards the later half of the split. There are still places, and I don't want to just sit here and harp on Direwolves as a negative by any means, and there are still things that they have as positives for sure. But a lot of the core problems that they seem to have as a team haven't been remedied, and everyone's beating them through those problems.
Well, I know, Rusty, if Spicy Tips are to be believed, you did have some faith in the Direwolves this week.
Yeah.
What did you think they'd be able to do to really upset the apple cart?
I've already explained this, Pyra, but I'm just going for crazy tips to try and catch up as best
I thought you had
can.
a master plan that you didn't want to reveal. I was trying to weasel it out of you.
Not at all.
No, okay.
My master plan is very simple. I'm not winning, and I'm trying to win.
And that is kind of a game plan that Direwolves find themselves in right now.
Yeah, it is. We get along very well, Direwolves and I.
Yeah, well, they're a very agreeable team. I think, you know, they're jovial young players and
They're
been a
also
bit
just
more
lovely
serious lately.
people.
They are good people, though. Every time I see them in the hallway, they're always having a laugh, enjoying themselves.
They're the best of people.
Very friendly. Well, here comes
Oh,
Paprise.
Paprise.
He's a very aggro person.
He's got an Executioner's calling on the opposing side, so I feel like he might hesitate and back away from that one.
Yeah, this time around. Just kind of hovers around the outside while the rest of his team take yet another dragon. That is the second Ocean Dragon, so a little bit of extra regeneration as well as the mountain they picked up earlier on.
And you know, the CS difference in top lane actually does equate to that Executioner's calling worth of items. The 2 kills there, of course, give him a little bit extra.
Quite significant.
So it does start to add up, but no Black Cleaver finished yet for BioPanther. He delays that by the Executioner's calling worth of gold. In one more wave, though, he'll have enough money to go back to base and pick that one up. And the teleport is available for him as well, so perhaps they start to look towards those plays as the item spikes come across.
Waiting for the time they can strike. Ooh, Bio, he's going to be taking the aggressive play now. Nearly locked Paprise up into the chains. So Legacy are probably just playing this 4-1 consistently and sniffing for kills, hunting to see if they can get a man advantage. That would enable them to grab a Baron, especially if it was Udasoft taking the smite away from Direwolves.
Is there a bodybuilder Zac skin?
There really should be.
Oh, that'd be so great, because what you could do, right, is when he channels the E, he could be like starting a deadlift.
Ah, well, you've been to the gym a lot lately.
Me? No, never.
Thinking this way.
Absolutely.
You know what I'd like to see? In one of those like shirts that like it's just a T-shirt, but it has like a big muscly beach body on the front of it. Zach
For
is wearing one
Zach.
of those. Yeah, because
sure-
he's kind of blobby, you know.
Well, yeah, he's amorphous, but I'm sure he could like change his body to have abs or something. Could he not?
He'd give himself like Jello abs.
Yeah, why not?
That'd be kind of cool. That would be a great animation, actually. They could just add that into base skin.
Also, Aeroplane Jelly Zac is now just something that came into my mind and should exist.
Yeah, why not? This is the special weapons one, if I recall correctly.
I'm very unsure.
Oh, see, he does flex. Yeah. No abs, but he kind of deflates and stuff.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, that's a little...
I've never seen that before. I don't play that champion. That was great.
You really should play more Zach Rusty.
Oh,
It's kind of in the name.
I'm not a Zach Rusty guy.
Nope, you're a Zach Rusty Pie. So, slow game for Legacy as they continue to build the pressure, trying to secure vision safely.
Yeah, it's
Not
also
gonna
a
go for the
point.
wild play.
It's also a point in the game where Direwolves are known to be quite weak. Denian's even mentioned this in the interview. Legacy have been getting steadily more and more improved in their mid-game prowess. Slowing the game down is one of the better ways to do this as well. If you control vision, you tend to force errors out of your respective opponents. So maybe something that Legacy start to look towards. Areas of control, area of vision control, objective focus. Maybe Direwolves overstep their bounds and they're caught out of position.
Yeah, that's fair. So Direwolves do continue to just kind of run through their own jungle, trying to keep pace with the best that Legacy can throw at them, but not going for the aggressive play. BioPanther's really been the only one who has been making those plays. It's all been solo in the side lanes because while everyone else is playing League of Legends, Papyrus and BioPanther are playing the 1v1 game.
I mean, really, it feels like whoever is in proximity of Paprise is the person playing aggressively from the side of Direwolves. Have taken the croc away from Direwolves, they're upset by it, and they wanted to stop him from having a good game.
What?
Booty flashes.
Yeah, there's going to get the taunt on, and Direwolves start the fight. Andrew into the back line. How well can Legacy respond to this one? Andrew taken pretty low, though, and he's going to get taken out by Praedyth on the outplay. Chaz caught on the opposite side. Udasoft trying to heal himself back up, and Crazy taunted away. Paprise lead the charge here. The double kill goes the way of Praedyth, and Direwolves, admirable start to the fight, but they walk away with a disadvantage.
Yeah, they just don't have enough damage. Look at the items that Praedyth has completed. The Essence Reaver is there, and he's just cutting around the fight brilliantly.
And he's got
so
a Knight's
much
Vow in
damage.
his support.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's just doing too much damage. Kai'Sa can't keep up with him, and you'll see this. Andrew's ultimate positioning is so forwards and so aggressive that the Praedyth kite from him just means they end up in a 1v1. And there is no way that Andrew ever wins that 1v1 with Braum passive on. So starts to kite forwards. It's the Praedyth show from here, but Guts has been kiting. Paprise has been tanking as well. And they just have so much body to put in front of their 5-0 Lucian.
Yeah, really just running out of health bars. You could see Udasoft couldn't get back in after that one play, and if he had gone down, that might have been the Baron in favor of Legacy as it stands. Both teams didn't feel like they could go for it. Guts goes in, tries for the steal, doesn't get it, but that was a nice hop.
Little stabby stab from under his blobs there. BioPanther will secure it, but it was very close, and that will help them a lot, Direwolves, as they have the vision control presently. Although that vision control has now been clearly spotted by their opponents, so Legacy will play respectfully. They'll go for their waves first. It's a lot of bait around vision, and Direwolves are really hoping that Legacy run into them, but they're not.
Well, Direwolves still pretty much confined to wave clear duty for the time being. They'll need to get off to the mid side of the map if they want to get anything going on their own terms. But it's hard enough to secure vision every time. Legacy have proved that they're not afraid to start a fight.
Ooh.
Not going to flinch the swag flag.
Close, not close enough.
Paprise has started to be pretty useful in some of these fights, though, despite the fact that he had a rough in a laning phase.
Yeah, he's a big tank. When he has the ultimate, when he has the Sterix gauge, which is there now, and you would assume he's going towards the Gargoyle Stone Plate, especially at that break point, he is pretty unkillable.
And he's not the only one as well. Guts on the Warmog's armor. As BioPanther flashing away, followed through by Chaz. It's a 1v3, and he is going into a resurrection. Chaz remembers, hey, wait a minute, I need to finish the job. Should be able to get it. Careful, don't get outplayed there. Sidestepping, gets the kill, but Direwolves, look at this, they're on the Baron.
They've actually got it. Legacy aren't going to get here in time. They just put so many people into killing BioPanther. You've got to be kidding. It's just a free Baron.
All right, Direwolves going to feel pretty good about that.
Legacy just went for a play on the opposite side of the map to Baron when they had no vision control, realistically, that would enable them to get back there safely or in time.
That is an oopsie. Legacy really leaving a gate open, and Direwolves will take it. They'll lose a couple of towers on the reset. Legacy do get the one in the mid lane, but now let's see what the Wolfpack can do with the Baron buff on 4.
The thing is, that Baron probably would have ended the game for Legacy in terms of, you know, they have so much map control. They really were starting to snowball. That Lucian would be unkillable with minions in front of him as well.
Yeah, now it slows things down a little bit.
Yeah, it adds some time to the game. It slows it down like you mentioned. The Legacy are still like in full control of the Rift. It's just that they don't have Baron, which means to break inhibitor turrets is so much harder. That's a really deep wraparound right now from was going to be Corporal.
Yeah, I think they end up having to give up the Ghost there. Legacy back away quickly enough in unison. But there's a couple of towers ripe for the taking. Standing gold here for Direwolves to try and close that gap and get a few more items for themselves. They're not slouching it too bad right now.
No, the gold difference isn't even that significant. Like, they're still well and truly in with a fighting chance. But a lot of the game plan, you really have to kill Praedyth. If you cannot kill this Lucian, he's also right now an AD carry that refuses to die in the OPL full stop. He's got very good positioning in team fights and has proven to be one of the best one of the better team fighting AD carries, I would say, in our league. As long as Legacy get to team fights. Right now it's 5-0-1.
Tried to force it. Just got to be careful of overcommitting onto one. BioPanther did a great job as bait.
He's got 4 items in 28 minutes.
He's pretty big.
He will 1v5. But he has a cleanse. He doesn't have a QSS. He doesn't have a heal. One piece of crowd control layering from Direwolves may well be enough. And they've got many knockups. They've got 3 knockups in total in their comp. So it's not just about what Get Back can do. It's about if Bio can hit a Q. It's if Ubisoft can knock him up or Corporal gets the ult off. You can't cleanse those.
No, you can't. So, target on the back of the Legacy AD carry. 29 minutes on the clock. Baron buff used to grab a couple of outer towers here for Direwolves. Let's see if they can get anything else. Sending a Lissandra onto sidewave duty for now. Teleport's available on everybody. Well, except for Paprise. And Bio up in the top side, but they'll have him soon enough. And it's kind of a waiting game.
It's a really calm game.
Yeah. Decent number of kills, but they've all been like slow builds into like very quick decisive moments, and then everyone just backs off again. It's not like it's a slugfest like we saw last time.
Yeah. You know, this is not what I wanted, but I'm happy with what we got. We take that. I just wanted action. I wanted brawls. You know, I wanted actually like gladiatorial combat in the mid lane arena.
We're just gonna have to watch more Paprise and
Give me some
BioPanther.
Malphite, not this Renekton.
Malphite, man.
It's just fun to watch.
It is fun to watch. Well, I mean, it's such a satisfying ult to hit. Speaking of satisfying, oh, that's a big channel of the Culling. Get Back's walking away from it. Here we go, looking for the Braum ulti. They do knock up Corporal, and he's going to get taken down to 0. Get back, and Ubisoft tagging back in. They go back once again, and this is the Brolin you were looking for. Legacy getting the best of it, though. Ubisoft going to fall down. That's the double kill to the Rise.
And that's pretty much the clean ace. There's 2 alive, but it doesn't feel like it at all. Legacy are going to push towards the inhibitor. No contest available from the side of Direwolves, who chose to take the fight with their support already dead. That clearly shows how they feel in this game. Oh, they got it.
Yep, go from lane to lane. Moving even with the minion down to the bottom tower, and they're going to grab a 2-for-1 special on the inhibitors.
Member still alive from Direwolves, like we mentioned, but their impact is going to be so insignificant to the Legacy boys that they'll take the inhibs, back it up, and go again on another fight. 1 inhibitor left standing. This all starts from Get Back going in, cancelling, and then probably wanting to disengage, but realizing it's not possible. Then Corporal steps up and gets tagged even after the flash. He is just dead to rights. And then they choose to go in to protect him or to help him again. But they were never going to win this. And meanwhile, Praedyth free hitting even after all the zone control that was created, because no one can hit him when there's a big tank in front.
And if that wasn't any worse, Chaz is doing the exact same thing right next to him. He's not quite as big, but yeah, Legacy priority targets were not the ones that got tagged on by the Wolfpack, and that's why that fight went so lopsided. 31 minutes now.
Can we just switch over to how much gold Praedyth has as well? See, okay.
Oh, boy.
No, this is a point that I want to raise. He is my favorite AD carry right now in this game. And, you know,
out of 2.
I only say in this game because I also am with a team and I have another favorite AD carry.
Okay.
He has 1,300 gold, and then we go back to his items. Not a BF sword, is what I'm getting at. There we go. He has 2 control wards.
Ah, he's a team player is what you're getting at.
He's a team player.
Good man.
I like that.
Cool. There's the dash. There's the play. Direwolves
they're
TPing
going.
in. Get Back looking to cut off the Lucian. They do go onto him, but he cleanses out. There's the layered CC, but at what cost?
He's dead.
They get the shutdown. Can Legacy still take the fight? I don't think they can. It's Andrew that gets the kill. And Direwolves pull the trigger. Executing not just 1, but 2, and now looking for Paprise. He's going to get turned into a pair of boots.
And they'll get 3. Chaz needs to be careful here. They're all nearby. Barrett is up in 15 seconds. They may just run over to it and take it down again.
Already
Chaz,
for Chaz.
where are you
Where's he
off
going?
to?
He's going for Get Back. He takes him down. Outplay off the side. Now Chaz has just got to run it out. He burns the flash. That might dampen the Baron chances, though, for Direwolves.
Yeah, that may actually save them from the Baron completely. Guts is still alive as well, so the smite risk is there, and Ubisoft is dead. With that kill, Chaz assassinates Get Back as a rise, and so the Baron is not going to be taken by Direwolves, but they may still look for it. They may actually still try, and they are.
They're going to go. 2 members on. Corporal body blocking here. Guts and Chaz is there.
The intent has to be to turn. There's no way they try and take a smite battle against a Zac.
Ubisoft is coming in, though, and it looks like they do turn off the Baron. It stays aggro. Chaz and Guts, they're feeling like they can do this because they're forcing Direwolves to make a choice. Super Minions on the bottom, soon coming into the mid.
Predictable health bar is going down, though. It's at 3,000. 2,000 now. Ubisoft, he's here. Braum can cancel. No, he has no ult.
He doesn't have an ult, but Guts is going to hop over instead. They're just going to delete Ubisoft, guaranteeing themselves the Baron. That locks it up.
And one moment of weakness from Legacy. 1,000 gold shut down from Praedyth is given over to Andrew. He's still got 800 on him as well. That's how fed Praedyth was. But the Baron can't be secured. And they give it over to their opponents on the backside of that fight. And suddenly with 2 inhibs down and Baron buff on Legacy, I don't see a way for Direwolves back into this.
Nah, but they did put up a fight, and that's more than you can say for some of the Direwolves games of late. Legacy flexing their muscles, and this is going to be a team to contend with in Split 2.
They have one moment, Pyro. They've got a Lissandra who has the ultimate, and there is no cleanse for Praedyth. Perhaps they can do something, but the desperation is going to start to really weigh on their minds.
Here's Corporal.
He's already got a big flank here.
If he pulls it, though, Chaz is actually going to start running at him, and he just punches away. Legacy going to turn on the flank. Here's Guts sticking onto Corporal. Redemption comes through, but Get Back right into the middle, and he just doesn't get the damage of full channel culling into the back of Andrew as he lives just barely. There's going to be the hero's entrance, the turnaround from the Wolfpack. It's absolute carnage. A double kill going to Andrew, who's still alive in this game, and they'll turn onto Chaz as he's caught out isolated. Not going to go down just yet, and Praedyth tagging his way in.
Praedyth!
It's the 1, the 2, outplays, and he doesn't get shut down.
He's 1 hit away from dying. Bio's stuck between 2 people, and he just
go
can't
anywhere.
kill him.
And there's Chaz for the ace. That's it.
He's going to rise ult into the base as well. It's over. Legacy, they just style.
They do at the end of it. Direwolves definitely give him a harder time than could have been expected. But at the end of the day, Legacy will close out their split with a win.
And you have to be happy with that at the end if you're Legacy. The individuals showing up for them once again. And if there's one takeaway you want from a game like this, it's that you have franchise players potentially in that roster. You want to work out who they are. And I think we all know now that Praedyth in the AD carrier position is someone that you can look at as an organization and say he is now the foundations of our team's future. You know, individually his performances have been getting better and better. And still in a game like this, there's been some big moments coming out from him. So honestly, you have to be super impressed with his performance towards the later half of this split. They've got a bright future, Legacy.
They certainly do. And it's obviously a bit bittersweet that they won't be able to showcase this improvement in the playoffs, in the gauntlet, but they really develop towards the end of it. They're going to have a nice little bit of time off and really develop some new game plans. There's always some surprises available. I definitely think there's a lot of good things in the future for the Legacy lineup. For the Wolfpack, on the other hand, they still are searching for some answers, but we saw some glimmers of what that improvement can be in this game.
I mean, the question's always going to be when for Direwolves, and that's the crazy thing. You know, the history of the team, 4 splits in a row, suddenly they're last place with a single win in a split. It's not a good look for them, honestly, but you'll have to trust the org, right? You have to trust the process. It's just such a rough way to
It's
end
a long
split.
process so far, but you're right. They're definitely not exactly where they wanted to be. Legacy definitely showing some improvement. Let's go ahead and send it back to the couch to talk a little bit more about that game.
Thank you very much, Pyro. Of course, that was Legacy picking up, I think, their 5th win of the season, taking down the Direwolves. To break it down a little bit further, brought some analysts with me.
Yes, the biggest brains in the OPL is Nick and Hingers.
I dropped my ball literally as you said, biggest brain in the OPL.
So before we get into this, I actually think that you guys would make a good duo. Because I don't know whether you know this, Nick, but Hing and I duo a lot together.
do.
Yeah.
And he's an 80 carry extraordinaire.
Yep.
And we won a game against Egypt as 80 carry and support. You're a good support player.
And that was on stage, so literally, you know I am good at
Under
stage
pressure.
games. Yeah.
So I think that could work. I want to
sign
talk
me
about
up.
a different bottom lane. Legacy's bottom lane this game. Praedyth had an amazing game. What did you guys make of his
Well,
performance?
I'm still catching up with the fact that Praedyth's not a top laner. When did that change happen?
This split, yeah.
I thought he was the top laner who refused to use teleport to go to team fights. He would sort of just teleport back to lane and then not get engaged. But it seems in this game he wanted to fight.
I'm excited about the fact that he fought as well because last week he's on the desk saying he's the best ADC in the region.
Yep.
And then that's a big monster ball to put out there if you're not actually going to follow it up. And
Name a better AD carry.
I can't.
You're good.
Me!
No.
It's me! Come on! No, it's not.
But he is doing very well. And I feel like on a team that's doing well, on a team that's on the rise. So Praetor one to watch out.
Speaking of drafts and what roles we're best in,
Yep.
can I say there was sort of some unfortunate Twitter business earlier on where people were trying to, sort of pit Nick and I against each other.
Yeah. And
People
by
saying-
Twitter business, you mean the producers in the building
Yes.
and the co-hosts and the refs. And basically, every time any of us walked in around anyone, they were like, I'm looking forward to you two beating each other up.
People were like, Hingers versus Nick Boy, who's the best bloody OPL host? And look, I just want to say that I think we can all agree that the worst OPL host was Spawn. It's...
I knew this was coming at some point tonight. I said, I think I should host a segment. I just saw them both go, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that's
sure.
fine.
Yeah,
And I was like,
that's
yeah,
so easy.
100%.
You go for it.
I want to ask about the Direwolf season. Unfortunately, another loss. They've only won one game so far. Have the signs been there for this rebuild so far? Can they trust this process?
Look, I'm going to go back to what you said a couple of weeks in because I believe it as well. I just need to trust in Curtis. I need to trust in Coach Curtis that there is a plan, and maybe this split was just getting the guys used to playing on stage, used to playing as a team. There seems to be something that's not clicking there, and it
What
is
is
going to
it?
be... from my perspective, and it's very limited, Jake. You understand this. Most of my League of Legends understanding
I want specifics. As the
talks
host, I want
about
a specific.
pasta.
Yeah.
I feel like Direwolves don't know when to take the fight and when not to take the fight.
Okay.
So I feel like their communication when it comes to like what are we doing in a moment to moment within the game seems to be lacking.
I think the other thing that is kind of, it seems to be hard, again, from my expert opinion as someone who's been sitting on a mountain for 2 years,
Yeah.
just studying and watching the OPL in depth, I feel like an issue is that they have drafted a new lineup, but the expectations because of the brand name was like, they are still going to win, right?
You reckon they
And
should
so-
be called the Dire Cubs? Like they should take that name and put it here.
And I think I think that kind of pressure on anyone
Yeah.
is gonna lead to problems.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Absolutely. On the flip side, though, Legacy season seems to be taking off. Maybe could have happened a little bit early. They would have been in playoff contention, but it seems very positive signs going into Split 2.
I do not want to get like called up in some sort of like meeting within Riot for harassment. But Chaz, best lips in the OPL.
Goodness me.
I just think I love Chaz, and I only say that because he's involved in so many of the pro Carsos. But I am very much getting on board the Legacy hype train. And
Now, is there anything sort of lip non-related that is
nothing
drawing you to them?
It's entirely lips,
exclusively lip
and it's
content.
just one man's lips. And I'm sorry to the lips at the desk right now. Yours are very nice. But I love Legacy because I love underdog stories. I mean, you and I are walking underdog stories. And
They said I would never be back. They said I wouldn't be, but look at me now, Mum. Look at me.
your mother's not watching. And so
She wouldn't know how. She wouldn't know how to log on.
And so I love the fact that Legacy are, ending the split in a way that looks as though they're going to have not only have learned a lot, but be in a really good headspace over the break to come into the next split in a really positive way. And Chaz seems like one of those players that is really going to take.
They really do get frantic when you don't throw, don't they?
No, they freak out when you take the
I
broadcast.
haven't heard my producers speak to me all year because I sit in neither of the host positions, and they're like, "Yeah, you can toss.
Now you'll understand.
You can really,
Yeah.
can give the interview over if you would like.
You understand how difficult the job is. Now,
You just don't have to listen, is what I've learned from my experience sitting in
Hard
this
cut
chair.
away.
just pull out the clear thing, and you don't need to deal with him anymore.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
A
I'm
small
no
hook
longer
will be
plugged
coming
into
from
the
the side.
Matrix. I've gone rogue. No, we are going to throw over the interview. It is going to be Pyra at the desk with Crazy.
Thank you very much, Spawn. Best host, I think some could say as well. Maybe he's challenging for the title now.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see in the future.
Yeah, he's got a bright future ahead of himself. And speaking of, I think you guys do as well. Split 2, things are looking up right now. You've really developed, took a couple of wins at the end of it all. How does it feel now that you've got your games all done?
It feels really good to be able to show what we've done in scrims, because I know just for a couple of weeks when we were losing and just having like really bad games most of those weeks we're having games like today in scrims. So it just feels good to be able to actually show it on stage.
So in those weeks that you guys weren't really reflecting on-stage performance from what you were doing in scrims, who was holding it all together? Who was the rock in the team, or was it a coach? Was it Denian?
I think it wasn't one person in particular. I think everyone always had a good mindset. Like, we knew what we were doing. We knew we were doing well in scrims. We knew we just had to translate it together in stage, and I think everyone held it together really well.
Fair enough. Now, also, you've been kind of part of an interesting duo because between you and Pradith, you both role swapped. You at least get to stay in the same lane.
Yeah.
How has it been a split on putting your shoes into the support?
I'm enjoying it a lot. I think it was a good switch for me. I enjoy support much more than AD carry. I feel like I have more agency. Like, I can do more things in the game. So I just think it's really good. I enjoy support.
Oh, cool. And on the flip side, how has it been playing with Pradith, who's role swapped from a top lane position?
I think it's been good playing with Pradith. At the start, it was a bit shaky because he was still very much a top laner playing AD carry. But as he's progressed through the split, he's improved a lot. And I think he's got a bright future ahead of him as well.
Excellent stuff. So not just him, the whole team. Looking forward to seeing what you guys do in the next split. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick break for some McNuggets. We'll be right back.
We don't believe in labels at Macca's, like dinner or breakfast. So